Tonight, a ceasefire takes hold in Gaza as Israel now waits for hostages to be freed.
Like everybody else, I'm holding my breath that it will actually happen.
Israeli troops pull back as Gazans head north, returning to what's left of their homes. A powerful blast levels a military explosives plant.
It's hell, but from the time we try to start seeing what we're seeing.
More than a dozen feared dead. The major Canadian study linking screen time in kids to lower reading and math scores.
The more time children spend on screens, the worse they tend to do in school.
Why the type of screen time could matter.
From CBC News, this is The National with Christine Barak.
Thanks for joining us. Tonight, under the relative calm of a ceasefire, tens of thousands of people in Gaza, Palestinians and Israeli soldiers, are on the move. They began early, a seemingly endless procession, returning now to a wasteland of shattered buildings as Israel's military pulls back to the agreed-upon line within Gaza, while in Israel, citizens await the return of hostages or their remains lost for 2 years. Margaret Evans takes us through the first hours of a new peace with signs of fragility already showing.
The long road home again. Thousands of Palestinians heading north along Gaza's coastal road as soon as the ceasefire took hold. Desperate for a glimpse of a place they may no longer recognize. Even if it's rubble, we will pitch a tent and live, says Wael al-Najjar. It's better than being displaced. Earlier on Friday, Israeli troops had withdrawn to agreed-upon lines inside Gaza, keeping control of more than 50% of it, something Brigadier General Effie Deflin was keen to emphasize. If things can be achieved through negotiation, so be it, he says. If not, Israel is fully prepared to return to war. In Gaza, Hamas security forces appeared on the streets for a time. The group says it won't try to rule Gaza, but that disarming isn't a given. We think weapons are a legitimate means to defend our Palestinian people, says spokesman Hazem Qassem. It's a stark example of what could still derail this oh-so-fragile truce. Over the next 72 hours, Hamas is expected to release the 20 living Israeli hostages. Medical experts, trauma therapists, and an anxious public await them.
The deal is way overdue. We could have saved so many people, and this government let so many people die in Gaza.
Some Israelis and Palestinians willing the ceasefire to hold are putting their faith in Donald Trump, who's expected to travel to the region within days. He's the reason it exists, says Zuhair Abu Khalaf. Trump believes he's the president of the whole world, he says, so he went and imposed peace on everybody. That doesn't mean everybody trusts him, especially in occupied East Jerusalem.
He only looks for his own interest and his only people.
Ihad Jalad points to repeated U.S. vetoes against ceasefire resolutions at the UN.
I'm not demanding you to stand by Hamas. We're saying that we want you to stand by the humanity.
The truce also stipulates that desperately needed aid will be allowed into Gaza, 600 trucks a day, but it's not clear when. Aid agencies say they're ready, but that Israel has yet to put the permits in place that will allow it to flow. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Jerusalem.
A devastating scene in Tennessee tonight. 19 people are missing and feared dead after a massive blast at an explosives plant.
Very devastating blast. It encompassed one whole building.
Aerial footage of the aftermath shows smoldering wreckage and the burnt-out shells of vehicles. Officials say the cause of the blast isn't known and the investigation could take days, but there is no danger of further explosions. Critics of Donald Trump are sounding the alarm after another of the U.S. president's adversaries was indicted. New York's Attorney General is being accused of mortgage fraud. Katie Nicholson now with how some fear the U.S. Justice Department is being used for revenge.
The New York Attorney General, who took Donald Trump to civil court on fraud charges and won, now indicted herself.
This is a blatant miscarriage of justice. This is a shameless act of political retribution.
A grand jury indicted Letitia James for bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution, alleging in part that she got a better mortgage rate on a Virginia property by improperly claiming it was her second home. In a video, James calls the charges baseless.
His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law, but to the president, is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country.
That someone, Lindsay Halligan, hastily installed as the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia just days before a statute of limitations was about to run out on the case against former FBI Director James Comey. Both Comey and James mentioned in this post from the U.S. president imploring his attorney general to take action against his foes, both now indicted.
Donald Trump has turned the Justice Department into his personal attack dog to go after his political enemies. This is tyranny.
Donald Trump has repeatedly made it clear how he feels about James.
It's a disgrace. We have a corrupt attorney general in this state.
The attorney general is a fraud, and we have to expose her as that.
Comments which may derail the case against her.
This is the really rare case in which they have a very strong selective prosecution claim, which, by the way, doesn't turn on whether the evidence is solid or not. Under the law, it's a constitutional violation.
And if that succeeds, then both cases could fail on those merits. There is another argument that Comey's team is thinking about bringing forward as well. That would be to question the legitimacy of Lindsay Halligan's appointment to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and that could also spell trouble for both of these indictments.
And Katie, now it appears another Trump adversary could soon be indicted.
Yes, Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, has been under investigation for allegedly mishandling documents, and that is underway in Maryland. A lot of people will be watching what happens in the Maryland courts next week.
All right, Katie Nicholson, thank you.
You're welcome.
U.S. President Donald Trump announced he will impose an additional 100% tariff on imports from China in response to a move from Beijing to restrict exports of rare earth minerals.
We were just surprised that China have a very good relationship with President Xi, and they did that. This is not something that I, instigated. This was just a response to something that they did.
Wall Street did not respond well, with major indexes plunging and closing down as much as 3% on the news, the worst day in months. Yesterday, China announced that foreign companies would need a special license to export rare earth minerals that are crucial for many electronic components. The first wave of layoffs of U.S. federal workers began today as the government shutdown reaches day 10. It's unclear exactly how many workers have been impacted, but the White House has threatened to cut as many as 4,000 jobs. Unions representing federal workers have denounced the firings, accusing the administration of using the jobs as a bargaining chip in the fight over the shutdown. Canada's labor market saw a surprise jump last month, in some areas hit hard by U.S. tariffs. According to Statistics Canada, 60,000 jobs were added in September. Nearly half of those were in manufacturing, the sector's first employment increase since January. Canada's overall unemployment rate held steady at just over 7%. There's some relief tonight for people who rely on Canada Post. A shift to rotating strikes will allow mail to flow again. Cheyenne Desjardins explains why after a 2-week nationwide strike, the union appears to be taking the pressure off.
Here's the design. So I think the colors are great.
For this toy maker, the Canada Post strike threatened to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars ahead of the holiday season. News that deliveries are restarting more than just a relief.
I'm thrilled. We're really hopeful that it's going to be okay for Christmas.
The union representing 55,000 Canada Post workers says it's moving to rotating strikes. That means some people will go back to work while others keep the strike going. Recognition from the union that it needs the public on side, according to this labor expert.
So it's a tricky situation. I think the union definitely realized that it has to maneuver and perhaps position itself in a way that's favorable to the public.
Postal workers walked off the job 2 weeks ago, their second nationwide strike in a year, the latest in reaction to the federal government ordering major changes to Canada Post, including ending door-to-door deliveries. But despite returning to work, the union says the fight is not over.
There will be places in the country that won't be performing sortation. That's part of the pressure that we can come to bear on Canada Post.
He says it will mean mail delays in some places, but for some business owners, that the mail is moving at all will be a lifeline.
Even if it's slow, at least we'll get there. And so we can send our catalogs out. So that makes a huge difference for us, absolutely huge.
In a statement, Canada Post said while Postal Service will begin to resume next week, uncertainty and instability in the Postal Service will continue with the union's decision to conduct rotating strikes. Desjardins, CBC News, Toronto.
And a province-wide strike in BC is growing. Employees at government-run liquor and cannabis stores have joined the picket lines, with restaurants and bars now worried they'll run out of booze. As Caroline Bargout tells us, it's prompted fresh questions about BC liquor laws.
1 day longer, 1 day stronger.
It's the largest civil service strike in British Columbia in 40 years. About 25,000 workers walking the picket lines. For over a month, it was corrections officers, social workers, administrative staff. But now, employees at government-run liquor and cannabis stores have joined the job action. As a result, bars and restaurants are bracing for shortages. The manager of Vancouver's Provence Marina side stocked up on liquor as soon as he heard there would be a strike. Businesses are not allowed to buy liquor from private shops, only from provincially run stores, which are now closed.
It's difficult. Every other product we buy, we have choices. You know, I want to buy chicken, I can go to anybody who sells chicken and I can buy chicken and that's just fine. But if I want wine, I have to go to one supplier.
The restaurant has enough liquor for a few weeks, but if the strike drags on, it will run out. Smaller restaurants who couldn't afford to stock up are already sounding the alarm. The union representing striking workers says it sympathizes with the industry, but it's fighting for fair wages.
Over the last 10 years, we've seen the average wage in the province go up over 12 percentage points more than average wages in the civil service. And today, a civil servant in British Columbia makes 2.7% less than an average worker in BC.
The province says it's negotiating in good faith.
Well, we have an offer on the table that keeps workers whole with inflation and also increases the wage for the lowest workers. We feel that this is a reasonable offer.
Talks have been stalled since the end of September, with both sides meeting for just 4 days before breaking down again. With the strike now into its 6th week, it's unclear how long it will last. Caroline Bargout, CBC News, Vancouver.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announced a series of affordability measures ahead of the fall budget, including automatic tax filings for low-income Canadians.
They'll need to just provide a few details, confirm their information on a pre-filled out tax form from the CRA. And then they will receive all the benefits to which they're entitled.
The program will begin in the 2026 tax year and scale up to 5.5 million Canadians by 2028. He also announced that the government will make the National School Food Program permanent. Carney says as a pilot program, it has been providing meals to over 400,000 children a year. New numbers from BC's coroner's office are highlighting the province's overdose crisis. In July and August, toxic drugs killed on average 5 people a day, but it's especially bad in one small community on Vancouver Island. As Georgie Smythe reports, it's led RCMP to issue an unusual warning.
BC's drug crisis lives in cities large and small, like Campbell River on Vancouver Island. 13 people have died from suspected toxic drugs since the end of August.
Oh, I knew all of them. We knew them all. They're our friends.
Authorities are investigating this sharp increase in deaths, which dramatically breaks an overall pattern of declining overdose numbers in the province. RCMP issued a rare warning for drug users to take extra precautions.
This is a significant spike.
The inescapable facts of this crisis, toxic supply, homelessness and mental health problems, are the same as the mainland. But in a small city, the impacts are overwhelming. Campbell River consistently sees some of BC's highest per capita overdose deaths, and that's partly because of geography. It's halfway up Vancouver Island and acts as a basin for users all over the North Island who come here to access its services.
The supply down here is just so much more toxic than anything that their bodies have maybe been exposed to up north, that oftentimes they end up coming here and dying on our streets.
She says there's a widening gap between what's needed for users and what's being provided by the city and the province.
There have been a lot of cuts to programs. I mean, I really worry that people are out using alone in tents in like the forest and overdosing and dying in that way. So I think that the loss of services has really hurt our population.
Chantal Costas lost her 20-year-old son Santos to an overdose here in 2022. She says this surge in deaths is a reminder of progress stalled.
You like to think that your son's death had some impact and would start changing things.
For now, all police can do is tell people don't use alone in an effort to save lives. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Campbell River, BC.
Venezuelan politician Maria Corina Machado is this year's Nobel Peace Prize winner, recognized for her struggle to transition Venezuela from dictatorship to democracy. But as Paul Hunter tells us, she dedicated the award to Trump, who for months campaigned for the award for himself.
The Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 goes to a brave and committed champion of peace, Maria Corina Machado.
Maria Machado, the hugely popular opposition leader in Venezuela, who for years has been fighting for greater freedom in that country, taking on the government of President Nicolas Maduro, who has long forcefully cracked down on dissent and his opponents.
And I'm calling to inform you.
In a phone call just before the official announcement, Machado was given the heads up she'd won.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, I have no words. Thank you so much.
In hiding, somewhere in Venezuela, Machado said the prize is recognition of the broader push for democracy in that country.
This is an achievement of a whole society.
But though the spotlight is now on Machado, so too is attention on someone who did not win the prize, U.S. President Donald Trump.
And I called him, I said, let's end the war.
Who in recent weeks and months had publicly, strongly hinted he certainly thinks he deserves it.
I stopped wars from happening. If it were somebody else, they would have gotten 5 Nobel Prizes. I never even got a mention.
And in now officially not winning the prize, it's clear that some in the White House are not exactly thrilled at that. In a post on X today, White House Communications Director Stephen Chung wrote, "The Nobel Committee proved they place politics over peace." Worth noting, Trump himself is a supporter of Machado and her efforts to unseat Maduro. On that, Machado gave Trump a direct shout-out, posting, "I dedicate this prize to the suffering people of Venezuela and to President Trump for his decisive support of our cause."
Machado added she's counting on Trump in her push for Venezuelan democracy, the suggestion being they need help from the guy who didn't win. Paul Hunter, CBC News, London.
A new Canadian study finds more screen time for younger kids is linked to lower test scores.
How do we get them ready for a digital world?
What parents and teachers should know. Taiwan celebrates its National Day as many worry about its future.
There's no dialogue and people are becoming more and more hostile to each other.
How it's boosting defenses over concerns of a possible Chinese invasion. And calls for accountability when workers die on the job.
Ideally, I would like to see jail time.
CBC News investigates why criminal convictions are so rare. We're back in 2. Vancouver police are searching for a suspect after a series of stabbings they say appear to be random and unprovoked. The attacks happened this morning along the city's seawall. 3 people were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the suspect is believed to be a woman in her late 20s or early 30s. A new Canadian study is linking too much screen time to lower reading and math scores for younger kids. As Deanna Sumanak-Johnson tells us, it's another piece of evidence as parents and educators try to grapple with how to shield kids from a digital world while also preparing them for it.
Mom of 3 school-age children, Ann Whitmore, says their family has strict limits on screen time, but she admits it's not always easy.
How do we get them ready for a digital world, but also balance the need for, having a broader perspective and having those other skills of critical thinking and social emotional intelligence.
A new study from Sick Kids published in the Journal of the American Medical Association suggests there's something else at stake with kids using iPads, video games, and TV. Performance on standardized testing. The study was conducted between 2008 and 2023 in Ontario. It followed more than 3,000 grade 3 children and more than 2,000 grade 6 children, the grades when the province's mandated exams happen.
So for each additional hour of screen use, there was approximately a 10% lower odds of meeting standards in both reading and mathematics in grade 3 and mathematics in grade 6.
There are limitations. It was observational, meaning based on parents' reports of their children's screen use. Still, its large sample size makes it a powerful addition to the growing body of evidence on how excessive screen time impacts kids.
As kids spend more time on screens, and also it really depends too on what they're doing on these screens, whether it's playing video games or scrolling short-form video. But all of this trains our attention in particular ways that may make it harder to focus for long periods of time.
The study author says the goal of research was to instigate change on all levels, not to shame parents.
So what can parents do? What can clinicians do? What can we do in our schools?
I think education for parents around how do we be thought leaders in this? How do we provide guidance?
A reminder of the risks as parents and schools alike grapple to raise a generation that needs to be digitally savvy. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Taiwan is stepping up its military spending to defend itself against China. CBC News is in Taiwan as concerns grow over a possible invasion.
We need punishment that makes them say, whoa, that's not worth it.
Every year, hundreds of Canadians die on the job, but employers rarely face jail time. CBC News investigates why. And Western premiers clash over a proposed oil pipeline.
It's not the Danielle Smith show, it's the Canadian team.
The National breaks down the stories shaping our world next. Taiwan has announced it will build an air defense system to intercept incoming drones and rockets. This comes as provocations from China increase. Chris Brown visited the island on its National Day and has more on its uncertain future.
Taiwan threw a big party to celebrate its National Day, but the colorful event only underscored that the island's future is growing more uncertain by the day. So its president, Lai Ching-te, announced Taiwan will build what he called a T-dome, a missile shield to intercept incoming Chinese drones and rockets. China now stages almost daily provocations, and there are indications its navy may even be practicing dry runs for a potential invasion.
National Day events here have typically elicited a strong response from China. Last year, the PRC proceeded to encircle Taiwan with planes and ships in a strong show of military intimidation.
This year, Taiwan chased away a Chinese ship that ventured too close to a Taiwan-controlled island. China's government sees Taiwan as a breakaway province that will be reclaimed by force if necessary. Boosting military spending, though, is controversial.
is something that...
The opposition KMT says more confrontation by the ruling party isn't the answer.
There's no political base for a dialogue between now the DPP government and Beijing. So there's no dialogue, and people are becoming more and more hostile to each other.
Taiwan's military is getting stronger, but still relies heavily on U.S. backing,
It's just like
which this expert says under President Donald Trump has become unpredictable.
Accusing Taiwan being like a person stealing everything from the U.S. and who's not willing to pay for service, right? So this basically just hurt a lot of Taiwanese people's feeling.
Taiwan's key asset with both the U.S. and China is its dominance of making microchips. And some here believe that gives their little island leverage as it tries to get what it wants from two global superpowers. Chris Brown, CBC News, Taipei.
Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world. On a possible pipeline, Alberta and BC dropped the gloves.
Premier Rhee's comments are un-Canadian.
It's not the Danielle Smith show.
Pipeline or pipe dream? But first.
At the end of the day, the fines come across as just a cost of doing business.
Does Canada do enough to hold employers accountable for workplace deaths? Fines are the usual punishment, but some say the answer is more criminal charges.
And this is psychology 101. It's about a deterrent effect, right?
Anis Haydari examines why criminal charges are so rare and what could change that.
We begin with the death of a Walmart employee in Halifax.
It happens a lot.
An investigation is underway after a worker was killed at an oil sands site today.
Every year, about 350 Canadians die at work.
22-year-old Riley Bassin was killed on the job Christmas Day.
The worker is dead after getting hit by a falling concrete slab.
Sometimes there are fines.
BC Ferries has been fined more than $650,000 for the death of one of its workers.
But to many, fines aren't enough.
It means practically nothing. It's a drop in the bucket.
At the end of the day, the fines come across as just a cost of doing business.
There are calls for criminal charges.
This is psychology 101. It's about a deterrent effect, right?
It's very difficult to get a criminal conviction in a workplace death.
Okay, keep in mind, I don't really know the song too well. I think it goes something like... Sorry.
Meet Liam Johnston, a young man who died on the job. It happened while doing plumbing work in this Calgary neighborhood. Tonight, we'll tell you about his case and explore why it's so rare to see criminal charges after death in a Canadian workplace. But first, we'll tell you a love story.
You know, we talked about getting married and what starting a family would look like for us.
Emily Gofton's life was unfolding just like she'd hoped. What are the qualities that you loved the most about Liam?
His selflessness, his kindness. I loved that he could sense what I needed. I loved that how understood that I felt around him.
A happy couple in love. Liam's family was happy too.
Liam talked about Emily with a glow on his face. And she made him really happy, and he made her really happy, and it was a really beautiful thing to see.
It's a moment in life where you find that right person, and you know it. You just know it.
They met as co-workers in 2021 at Mr. Mike's Plumbing. She worked in the office. He was apprenticing on the sewer crew.
I started to cry, but then remembered I...
In early 2023, they moved in together. Then Emily quit for what she called a better job.
Just finished up a week-long job at a pool.
Liam wanted to quit too, maybe go back to school. He never got the chance. One summer morning, Emily gets an urgent call. Liam's been hurt at work.
She said, Liam's been, the hole collapsed on Liam. Liam's been buried in a hole.
She rushed to the job site.
It was, oh my God, this is not real. This can't be happening right now. I'm telling myself,
he's okay. Obviously, he's probably going to be hurt. Maybe we'll be in the hospital later today, but he's going to be okay.
She arrives to a horrific scene.
I'm seeing just more fire trucks, more fire trucks, more fire trucks. Like firemen are like filing in.
Liam was deep inside a backyard excavation, working on a sewer line.
At some point, a police officer arrived, and so they were kind of cornering it off so that I couldn't get back there.
A retaining wall sitting right above the hole collapsed.
The hole was between 10 and 20 feet down.
Firefighters had to call in a backhoe to dig Liam out.
They didn't obviously want me to see the state of what was a reality.
Here in this alley, under all of that weight, concrete blocks and earth, experts say Liam probably died within minutes. His body wasn't recovered for 9 hours. Liam was just 27 years old when he died. His family believes he'd be alive today if his company had been following safety regulations.
It was completely preventable. It never should have happened.
The worksite had no trench box, which can protect against cave-ins. They're made of large steel walls and heavy braces. Firefighters needed one put in just to recover Liam's body. In May this year, Alberta's Occupational Health and Safety Department laid 11 charges against Mr. Mike's Plumbing, including alleging it failed to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of a worker and failing to ensure that they were protected from the collapse of a wall of an excavation. We contacted Mike Brock, the owner of Mr. Mike's Plumbing. His lawyer responded to us, saying that the death of Mr. Johnston was a profoundly sad event, and we trust that the legal process will clarify the facts of the incident and the events leading up to it. Back when Liam died, the company said in a statement that it had safety equipment and shoring on site. At some point while installing, this tragedy occurred. Mr. Mike's Plumbing is expected to enter a plea on the regulatory charges. But those charges aren't enough for Liam's loved ones.
Liam was a really kind person, gentle and generous. It was devastating for me.
Ideally, I would like to see jail time.
Canada created the Westray Law in 2004 to make laying criminal charges easier when someone dies at work.
It's still unclear how the blast happened.
The law, named after the Nova Scotia mine where 26 workers were killed by an explosion. The idea, company owners and executives could face criminal consequences over safety.
The bill is clear. The person who leads and directs a workforce and corporations. So those are the individuals that should be held accountable.
Union leader Kevon Stewart wants to see more criminal charges.
At the end of the day, the fines come across as just a cost of doing business.
Specifically, more Westray charges. Why isn't it working?
I would have to say that because there's not enough enforcement, I would say employers are not taking it seriously.
According to the United Steelworkers, the Westray Law has only been used 30 times since 2004. Only 11 of those cases have led to convictions, and only 4 people have gone to jail under this law.
The 53-year-old man was fixing water pipes in a hole underground when earth and asphalt caved in on top of him.
One of those convictions, after a trench collapse in 2012, killed Gilles Lévesque. The owner of a Quebec excavation company got 18 months in jail for manslaughter.
The construction workers died here, and now 2 people have no deaths.
But other recent trench cases, like this one near Toronto, haven't seen criminal charges.
It's a very powerful law. It has not been effective for various reasons.
Rob Stewart knows the Westray Law well. He trains police on workplace injury and death investigations. He says many don't even know the law exists.
We still have police constables, some cases police services that aren't even aware that this law exists. There's been a lack of training and education out there for not only the police, but Crown prosecutors and our OH&S regulators on how the law can be utilized.
He's convinced more criminal charges would reduce workplace deaths.
And this is psychology 101. It's about a deterrent effect, right?
David Myrall isn't so sure.
I'm not necessarily convinced that more criminal prosecutions will translate into safer work sites.
He spent 2 decades defending companies against health and safety charges. Before that, he was prosecuting those cases as a Crown attorney in Edmonton. Why don't we see more criminal charges laid for workplace deaths?
I think what the Crown are doing at this stage are picking and choosing their cases. They don't want to create a bad precedent moving forward. You may lose the deterrent value of that criminal legislation.
And he says there's another reason.
It's very difficult to get a criminal conviction in a workplace death. It's a higher burden of proof, a greater degree of evidence required for the Crown.
As for the Liam Johnston case in Calgary, the Calgary police did investigate Liam's death. But Deputy Chief Cliff O'Brien can't talk about the specifics.
In this country, we have not seen a lot of criminal charges laid to an individual.
The city is one of the few police departments in the country with detectives who specialize in workplace investigations.
We only get one chance to do it right if it's a criminal investigation. We want to do it right.
The police have referred Liam's case to the Crown, but it's not clear whether criminal charges are warranted in his death. And as of now, there are no criminal charges against anyone at Mr. Mike's Plumbing.
He was just starting on really figuring himself out, and he had this real direction.
Liam's absence aches.
It's almost undescribable, to be honest. I try not to think about it, but it's impossible. It's just every day. It's every day.
But his family hopes the Westray law saves others.
We need punishment that makes them say, whoa, that's not worth it.
His girlfriend thinks the same.
I think justice for Liam is accountability. It's the Westray law being used. That would be gratifying and give us a sense of closure to know that Liam didn't die for nothing.
You think you're being sneaky, but you're not.
I miss the mundane, sitting together, eating a meal. He's still in my head every single day. I still think about him every night, every morning.
The plumbing company in this case is heading to court on October 16th, but that's for the occupational health and safety charges.
So, Anise, given how rare they are we seeing any recent criminal charges when someone dies at work in Canada?
Yeah, in Ottawa last month, criminal charges were filed against a business owner after 6 people died in an explosion involving diesel at a fuel company. The owner has already pleaded guilty under the Health and Safety Act, but the criminal negligence allegations haven't yet been tested in court.
All right, thanks for this. Anise Haidari in Calgary. Coming up, battling over pipelines is nothing new for Western premiers. Could this one be different?
The temperature really seems to be heightened, and we're really weaving in issues of identity here in a way that I don't think we've seen before.
Political watchers break down what's at stake this time. That's next. Western premiers trading verbal blows over pipelines.
Premier Bree's comments are un-Canadian and they're unconstitutional.
We all deserve the same opportunity for the same federal funding for our projects as she does for hers.
Tensions between Alberta and BC over big projects are normal, but does the latest war of words preview a new intensity?
That raises the stakes and raises the temperature.
Lindsay Duncombe breaks down why the battle over this proposed pipeline may be different.
It's not the Danielle Smith show, it's the Canadian team.
All is not well between Canada's Western premiers.
There is no BC coast, it's Canada's coast. There is no BC ports, they are Canada's ports.
Premier Bree's comments are un-Canadian and they're unconstitutional.
Here's what they're fighting about: Alberta's Danielle Smith and Saskatchewan's Scott Moe want to build an oil pipeline from Alberta to BC's north coast. They say it would generate big money and reduce Canada's economic dependence on the United States. But BC's David Eby says no way. There's legislation right now that would ban oil tankers from that part of the coastline, and he says there is no private sector support for a multi-billion-dollar pipeline project.
We've been here before. In 2016, the federal government killed a proposed pipeline from Alberta to BC after environmental and Indigenous opposition led to court challenges and delays. UBC political scientist Stuart Prest says this fight feels different.
Well, the temperature really seems to be heightened, and we're really weaving in issues of identity here in a way that I don't think we've seen before.
What Prest sees the oil-producing premiers doing is painting Eby's environmental concerns as outside the Canadian norm. It's an attempt at political isolation.
If you can align the idea of building a pipeline with that idea of defending Canadian interests, you have built a robust new consensus in the country, and that clearly is the game plan here.
There are numbers to back that strategy. A poll this week from the Angus Reid Institute found 59% of Canadians support a new oil pipeline. There's a majority of support in BC too, with 56% in favor. And check this out. Back in 2021, when Angus Reid asked what Canadians prioritized, the environment or the economy, most, 62% chose the environment. Now that's flipped, with 57% of those surveyed saying the economy should be the priority. But any pipeline project faces huge hurdles. There is Indigenous opposition. Chief Marilyn Slett leads the Heiltsuk Nation.
If we put in a major, oil crude tanker, it would devastate. It would absolutely destroy and devastate, the coast. There is no project that we would see that, we would ever support.
Opposition could again mean court fights, delays, and protests, all of it raising costs. Consider the Trans Mountain Pipeline was way over budget, costing more than $30 billion. What worries Prest about how all this is playing out is the tone.
And to be honest, this can put us into dangerous spaces when we start to delegitimize the rights of Canadians to disagree over something that is going to be controversial.
New intensity to a familiar fight with so much at stake for the environment, for the economy, and for Canada.
For its part, the federal government seems willing to let the premiers hash it out themselves. Energy Minister Tim Hodgson said this week Alberta will need to get its neighboring province on board in order to see its proposed pipeline come to fruition. Coming up, a rare sea creature was spotted on Pender Island in BC.
I have seen an octopus before, but I had never come across anything that looked like that on the beach.
How it made its way to the Royal BC Museum in our moment. You are looking at a rare 7-armed octopus that washed up on the beach on Pender Island in British Columbia. Kathleen Durant stumbled on the creature, one so unique it ended up in the Royal BC Museum. Tonight, her discovery is our moment.
I didn't know what it was. I have seen an octopus before, but I had never come across anything that looked like that on the beach. That was really orange and blobby. I uploaded it to a Facebook group, marine biologists on the island, and they share their expertise to identify things that people come across. A lady named Casey Cook said it was very rare. It's a 7-armed octopus. She thought it should go to the Royal BC Museum. We got hold of the museum. They said, we'd love to have it. I had a friend that helped me put it into a smaller container. We lugged it up the beach, 30, 40-pound blob. This octopus was going to be preserved forever and ever. I was just so super excited. Sometimes the ocean's mysteries aren't always 6,000 feet down. They're right at our feet. To have this kind of find and to be able to give it to the museum, I was just absolutely thrilled.
Okay, so there are roughly 300 octopus species, and in this one, The females have 8 arms, but scientists say the males actually tuck their 8th arm into a little sac behind their eye. They think that last arm may be part of how they reproduce, and they're trying to protect it. Makes sense, I guess. From all of us here at The National, thank you for being with us. I'm Christine Birak. Good night.